This is some tough love coming from the Lashpreneur today, that more revenue streams does not necessarily mean more money, so stop it. If this is your first time joining my name is Tara Walsh. I'm a business coach for beauty business owners who want to start, build, and grow a thriving lash business on their own and build out a team. So oftentimes when I get people wanting to build out a team, it's because they usually want to go be an educator and go have a product line. And the amount of times I jump on a business strategy call with someone who is like, yes, I want a team. Yes, I'm fully booked. Yes, I have a product line. I've already started researching it. Yes, I want to be an educator. I have people DMing me wanting to learn. It's like you have all these different things, right? And I'm all for the multi-passionate entrepreneur. Chef's kiss. I get it. However, usually when we get down to it, the driving motivation to have all of these different things going on is that they are actually not making money at any business. So they are not paying themselves. So they're looking, if I have multiple different revenue streams, I can build a lot of money coming in, and then I have money coming in from all places. Cool. Here's the thing, and here's where I think the social media kind of content that gets a lot of attention about building up multiple wealth and revenue streams and all that falls on deaf ears, is that you can and probably should, when you get to a certain level, build out more stability in having a diverse portfolio of revenue streams. Once you know how to produce profits in one business, that is the missing piece to those kind of like hustle culture, have multiple businesses. If you don't know how to work a business to get it producing profit where you're able to pay yourself, when you start adding in these other different business models, which they are completely separate business models, and I'll get into that why in a second. But when you're building out multiple different business models, you're actually spreading yourself super thin. And so you're investing a lot of time and money and resources in multiple different businesses without ever getting a return. So what I want you to understand is that is going to make the situation continue to spiral and get worse. So now you're investing in all these products and you're like, cool, I'm going to build out a product line, and I want to have a local shop where local lash artists can come and pick up products. You have to think about it from a business standpoint. What problem are you solving for what audience? Just because you are the owner of all of these different ideas doesn't mean it's the same business. So when you have a lash services business or a beauty services business, you are solving a problem, likely some sort of beauty, confidence, aging problem for your target market that is a local business, right? And so you maybe target moms who want to look and feel better after having babies, whatever that is. You are solving a specific problem for a specific audience. When you are building out a product line, you are now switching your audience and solving a completely separate problem. Therefore, it is a completely separate business. Because then you are targeting lash artists or beauty service professionals who need supplies to produce the service, right? And oftentimes, if you are thinking that you're going to have a local brick and mortar shop where your local lash artists are coming in, that's fine. However, you're limiting your reach, and oftentimes being online to get a larger reach and to get a larger scale at selling products means that's usually where more money is. That's not always the case, but you need to think about, you're actually creating an e-commerce business, an online business for selling products. When you're an educator, that is a separate problem that you're solving for maybe a similar audience to the product line, but you're solving completely separate problems. And it's a different service. There's one that's a product-based service, and then one that is a product-based business, and one that's a service-based business. When you're an educator, you're providing the service of training a person to create some sort of skill that can then produce money for their family, where they can start their own business. You're training them to do a skill set. Again, solving a completely separate problem for probably a completely separate audience. Generally speaking, when you're an educator, you're attracting new lash artists or new service providers who want to learn what you have to offer, as opposed to when you're selling products, you are selling to people who are already established, probably business owners buying their own supplies for their business. So do you see where you have really three very separate businesses? This is why you're not seeing traction in any of them, because usually what ends up happening is, yes, maybe you're super busy with your services. And so you're like, I want to stop trading my time for money. So I want to get out from behind the chair, and I'm going to start building out these other different revenue streams so that I can have an income that is not tied to me trading my time for money. That could be what happens long term. However, statistically speaking, most businesses fail within the first 2 years, and here you are starting 3 different businesses, right? So your odds of any of those like being alive after 2 years is very slim to begin with. Now, if you have proof and evidence that you know how to market, you know how to build demand, you know how to provide customers with whatever support and follow through and fulfillment on what it is that you're delivering on in one business, then you have some proof of success that you as the owner know how to run that you as the owner know how to create a business. And the more intentional you are about creating processes that deliver the results and the sales and the money and the profits, then we can take that as evidence that sure, maybe we can start a different business model. However, most of you, when I jump on the phone with you, you know how to do things, but you're not aware how you know how to do it. And you're mostly not tracking financials whatsoever, which is why you're overworking, which is why you're tied to trading your time for money. If you are tracking the financials and making database decisions in your business and prioritizing profitability, you likely would have all of the time and financial freedom that you needed, that you wouldn't be looking to necessarily have other revenue streams to provide an income for you. Maybe wealth stability, sure. Maybe you want to you love the idea of creating multiple different revenue streams, sure. But for the most part, when I get on calls with you, it's because it's trying to solve a problem that you're trading your time for money. If you had a process dependent business where the business ran off of processes, then you could hire people to run those processes and get more of your time back. If you're prioritizing profitability, that's where your income can come from when you are no longer the one producing the services. Here's the funny thing, and I'll give a little personal story before we kind of wrap this up, is that when I was fully booked as a lash artist and waxer and knew, I had really great income. I wasn't working. I was working 14 days a month, still making just barely over 6 figures in my business. I thought, cool, I'll build a team. That's like the lash artist success path. The next step, once you're fully booked, build out a team, right? That seems to be the common thing. And I went through all the process of interviewing people, doing in-person interviews, phone interviews, just kind of going through the process of hiring a team, and I realized, gosh, I don't want to tell grown adults to get off their phone all day. I don't want to be a babysitter. That was my viewpoint back in 2014 when I was going through this. And so I decided that's not for me. I really wanted to do something that was not necessarily time-based, and I didn't have this passion for building a team. So then I went into being the Lashpreneur, an online business coach, where I was not location dependent, and I could work from home. I could have another kid. I could build out online courses. And here's the thing. The irony of all this is that once I did that with the Lashpreneur, let me see my link. I've spent the last 7 years now building out a team. Ain't that a kick in the pants? That when you want to stop trading your time for money and you want to have growing income and you want to have multiple revenue streams, or, passive income is all the hot lingo, you need support to do that. And so I've spent the past 7 years building a team, and now we have programs building out a team because I've learned how to do it really well. And I've learned how to build the processes that I share in my programs of here's how we've built a team. Here's how we manage our team. Here's how we market. Here's how we sell. And so I've taken all those processes, and now basically I have programs where I am teaching those processes now. And so what I want you to understand as an educator that I don't think most people understand when it comes to being an educator, when you are an educator, most of your time is spent marketing. In fact, even with product line, most of your time is spent marketing. If you do not love marketing, if you are not obsessed with marketing, or at least not even open to learning how to be a really effective marketer, chances are you're going to have a really hard time having any sort of stability in your business. I would say 90% of my time, my week, is spent marketing and managing my team. Right now, this conversation we're having is a marketing action in my business. What I'm about to do right after this call is team meetings and sales calls. So sales, marketing, and managing a team, when you want to get to multiple 6, 7 figures, that's what you spend your time doing until you can outsource those things. But those are the revenue generating activities of the business, is marketing and selling, right? Leading your team so they can fulfill and do all the other things in the business. So when you're an educator, think about it like this. Most educators, people who want to become educators, love the idea of imparting wisdom and knowledge and all of their tips and tricks and skills and all of that to someone. However, as an educator, if that's all you're doing, you likely have to get new students in all the time to feed the business. New students. You have very little opportunities, at least most educators, to increase customer or student lifetime value where they're coming back for another class and a different course where you're growing how much one student is spending with you, right? So if you don't have the ability to grow how much your past students can spend with you and other opportunities for them to spend more money with you, then you have to keep getting new students to feed the business, which means that you're going to be spending a lot of time marketing, and that's going to be the bulk of where your time is spent. You will spend very little time actually fulfilling on what you're selling. Very little time actually being an educator. In fact, if you build online courses, you'll create the content, you'll create the online course, you'll do the education, and that's done. Then you spend all the rest of your time marketing and getting people into those programs. However, when you build out a team as let's say a service-based business owner, and you're building out a team of people to do the services, you actually get more opportunity to do the education part of it. And you also get the feedback of watching someone grow in their results. Right? And this is where I think most educators miss it. And I'm not saying, look, I am an educator, right? Like I do online education. But really my company is an online marketing company. What we provide are business education services for beauty professionals, right? But my business, you may think it's an educator, it's actually an online marketing business. All of our trainings for our team and our staff is on online marketing, right? Is learning how to do content creation, learning how to do TikToks, Reels, what's the new strategy, paid ad strategy. A lot of businesses, they have to know how to do marketing in order to be able to control the sales coming into the business so that we can provide the services and create the impact. So when you're thinking about if you love education and you want to be an educator, I want to just plant the seed that possibly building out a team is going to scratch that educator itch more than being just an educator. Because you can actually work with someone over long periods of time, not have to get new students in all the time. Your team member that you're training and educating then produces the results in the sales. So you're also benefiting that way instead of, I've got to get a new student who will pay $1,200 for a 2-day training or whatever the going rate is. Right? And so you can get, it's kind of a win-win situation if you really want to focus in on the education component, because then you also get to mentor and lead your team. If you are not tracking financials, if you are not making database decisions in your business, you're going to have a really hard time stepping up as a manager and a leader to your team, because you're going to be coming from a scarcity place and you're going to drive them into the ground, or you're just looking for a warm body to come in to just help with the overflow, which means that you're not actually educating and training them, because there is something to be said about old dog, new tricks. Those that have a lot of experience in our industry don't want to learn your way of doing it. They want to do it their way, and they just want to get paid to do it their way. But if you're building out a scalable business model, and especially if you want to lead and grow and scale and have a process-dependent business where it's not dependent on any one individual in there, and chances are you got to hire people who don't have a whole lot of skill, because then you can train them and educate them on doing it your magical way that has created so much demand for your business. So all of that to say, multiple revenue streams, that would be one of the last things I would recommend for anyone to do, especially if you don't have proof of you being able to do it in one business. Do it because you want to, and because you already have a blueprint of success and your lifestyle is covered, your financials are covered, you have the time and money freedom that you want. If you're not at that level yet, focus in on one revenue stream to success first and stop spreading yourself so thin across all of these different things and investing in product lines, and your business is not there to entertain you. Oh, that is a key right there. Your business is not here to entertain you. So if you're bored with your current business model, chances are it's time to start entertaining yourself in that business model and not creating multiple different business models. Go find a hobby, right? Get some time back. Go invest in friends. Go take up knitting. Go take up underwater basket weaving. Stop using your business as your entertainment. It is a profit producing machine, and we need to treat it as such. And you can still get a lot of fulfillment and a lot of reward. My business keeps me endlessly managing and navigating things. So it keeps me interested, but I don't use it to entertain me anymore. And that's where it can really throw a wrench in a lot of your profit margins and a lot of your ability to be able to retain a team member if you are constantly changing the direction and where your focus is. Work on getting your time and money freedom back in one revenue model, one business model, before you start adding on layers of complexity, other processes, other systems, other target markets, other Instagram accounts, other websites, other things. Focus on getting one to success first and then go do whatever you want to build out multiple revenue streams, because you already have the experience, the knowledge, the perspective, and the proof that you know how to get a business profit producing and growing with the knowledge that you have. So it would make sense that you could do that on any business model. All right, that's all I've got for you today. If this was helpful for you, I love it. If you're curious about building out a team, go ahead and DM me on Instagram, #hire, and let's chat about what it takes to build a team, whether you're doing it for an education business, whether you're doing it for a product line business, but most importantly, if you're doing it for a service-based business, if you want to stop trading your time for money. That's all I've got for you today, guys. Have a good one.